Welcome everyone to Training Tuesday. I am your host, Jim Wiggin, and so glad you could join us. If you're catching us live on the live stream, thank you for joining us. If you're catching us on YouTube, thank you very much. And if you like the content that you see that Athearn delivers on a weekly basis, please by all means select that subscribe button, like the video, comment on the video, hit the bell for notifications. That way you're notified every time a new video like this drops into our YouTube channel. We've got quite a few folks joining us here tonight. I see Michael, Jim, Train Jack 16, Nick, BNSF 9708, Darren, Thomas, Brody, Anessa, Donnie, Cody, and Ronald, just to name a few. So, believe it or not, we're in the last final days of February, and that means for me anyways, it's getting closer to nice warm rail fanning season, so I'm looking forward to that. Also, it means though we're going to be talking about March announcements. Now, our March announcement videos dropped onto YouTube this past Friday, and you probably have gotten to take a look at those. Tonight we're going to take a deep dive into two subjects, and we're going to be talking Athearn Genesis GP7 news, as well as some Athearn HO scale 60 footers. So I hope you are looking forward to that. Let's do one more round of shout outs. I see Wardell, Richard, John, Charles, DG Model Works is in the house. Jim, Around the Layout Podcast is joining us, and Charles Woods, just to name a few. So thank you for joining us. So glad that you could be here with us live or on the YouTube channel. Let's get started with another run of model train goodness by starting to talk about the Athearn Genesis GP7U. Now, this model that you see on your screen now hasn't been offered in a little bit, so let's talk a little bit about it. Now, we all know that in 1949, EMD introduced the GP7. Now, the basic design followed most diesel switchers. However, it did have the addition of a short hood instead of an end cab. Now, the hoods were also full height. That way they could better accommodate the diesel engine and the mechanical and electrical components contained there within. Now, many railroads around the late 60s, early 1970s chose to rebuild their GP7s and GP9s for continued service. Now, oftentimes it was cheaper to do this rather than to purchase a brand new locomotive. Now, some railroads adopted GP7R or GP7U as a designation to indicate that that was a rebuilt unit. Now let's talk about Santa Fe. Santa Fe began a program in its Claiborne, Texas shops to rebuild GP7s. Now this program started in 1972, and the high hoods were chopped down, dynamic brakes, if present, were deactivated, and in some cases new cabs were installed. Now the prime movers were also upgraded with new components, and these upgraded Jeeps, well, they gave long service for the Santa Fe. In fact, many of these survived the Santa Fe and went on to serve under the BNSF name. Now, a lot of these, however, did get sold to a lot of short lines. As BNSF got a little bit older, they started to add newer locomotives to their fleet, and these GP7Us, which had been used in anything from branch line to switcher service, were slowly sold off. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, the one you see on your screen here, this is one from 3 years ago. You might be able to find it. However, like I said, it's been 3 years, but this is a GP7U. This is Santa Fe road number 2220. And if you are actively looking for this model, the item number is ATHG 78240. Again, that's ATHG 78240. Now let's talk about what we're going to be offering this month for pre-order. And everything I talk about tonight is available for pre-order until March 29th. Now this first one, honestly, we had a lot of requests for this on our product suggestions as well as our social media. A lot of guys were asking for this, and you know what? We thought it was a pretty good idea because these are not far removed from what we've seen. This is based on a former Santa Fe unit. It's been patched out. It's what you would have seen in the mid to late 1990s as the BNSF started selling off these old locomotives. Now, this patched out version will include a decal sheet with various road numbers for your own customization. So this is perfect for you guys that, like me, maybe have a small switching layout and would like to have something that not only is a cool locomotive, but by putting your own spin on your road name and your road numbers, you've also got a locomotive now that tells a story. It tells a lineage of your short lines railroad. Now, this again is a former Santa Fe unit, so it's going to be a non-dynamic. It's going to have the nose-mounted headlight. 4 exhaust stacks will be included, and it's going to have the really cool Nathan K3 LA horn on the bracket, as you see there. Cab air conditioner and the large Sinclair antenna and ground plane. Now, the other one that we're offering is the undecorated. And again, this is based on a Santa Fe prototype, mid-1990s. But we got a lot of requests for this, dare I say demands, on our social media as well as our Athearn product suggestions email. Now, in the past, we haven't seen the sales like we would like to see in undecorated, but we've had so many people reach out to us wanting undecorated, so please don't prove us wrong. Pick these up for pre-order so that you can paint these in your own paint schemes. Now, this one is going to include the following features. And again, keep in mind, this is based on a Santa Fe unit. So it's going to be non-dynamic. It will have a nose-mounted headlight, 4 exhaust stacks, Nathan K3 LA horn on bracket, the Santa Fe cab air conditioner, large Sinclair antenna and ground plane, and any detail parts that are not listed are not included. Now, the other thing is, since this is an undecorated locomotive, it's going to come unassembled. So when you open up the box, it's definitely not going to be ready to roll. The frame and the drivetrain are there. The only parts that are painted are the fans and the frame. But other than that, you have to put the rest of it together, prime it, paint it, decal it, seal it, weather it, run it. It's all up to you. I hope you guys that have been asking for undecorateds are excited about this release. Coming up next, we're going to get into the Shortline area, and here's somebody that took advantage of that sale with the Santa Fe. This is the Central Kansas Railway. This is based on a trim scheme from 2013. Now, briefly, the Central Kansas Railway, the reporting marks for CKRY, was a shortline railroad of approximately 900 miles of trackage, consisting of former Santa Fe trackage in Kansas and northern Oklahoma. During the year 2000, it merged with a sister company, the Kansas Southwest Railway, which operated 4 Missouri Pacific branch lines. Now owned by Omnitrax, much of the CKRY traffic was from harvested wheat. Now Watco purchased all of the CKRY lines in 2001. Now these units traveled well beyond central Kansas. In 2006 and beyond, Unit number 701 that you see there was frequently photographed working on the Northern Ohio and Western, which is a remnant of the former Pennsylvania Railroad line from Mansfield to Toledo, Ohio. Likewise, 903 was often photographed in the Chicago area in 2000 and beyond, serving the Chicago Rail Link along with other on the tracks units. Pretty cool. Same railroad, same lineage, but there are some details. And since this is Athearn Genesis, we're going to go ahead and put those details on there. Let's talk about it briefly. 701, this is a former Santa Fe GP7. When it was a standard GP7 for Santa Fe, it was road number 2652. Subsequently, when it became a GP7U, it became Santa Fe 2179. Now, this unit, as it appears in the 2013 version of the Central Kansas Railway, is going to have a cab-mounted headlight, large firecracker antenna and ground plane, and roof-mounted air tanks. 903 is the same, but a little bit different. This, too, is a former Santa Fe unit. When it was a standard GP7, it had the road number of 2772. When it became a GP7U later on in life, it was 2084. Now, this locomotive will have a nose-mounted headlight, large Sinclair antenna and ground plane, spark arresters, Western coolant beacon, and that effect is only available when you spring for the Tsunami 2 version. Other features of both of these locomotives will include their non-dynamic. They're going to have 4 exhaust stacks, and they will have the Leslie S3LR horn with the bracket. So there you go. And keep in mind, every locomotive that I'm talking about tonight, including the undecorated and the former Santa Fe patch, is available as DC, DCC ready, as well as DCC with sound provided by Soundtrack's Tsunami. Not everything that we've been talking about so far is going to be based in the 90s or the 2000s. Let's jump to present day, 2024. This is Florida Central, the first locomotive you see there. That paint scheme has created quite a bit of excitement in the railfan community, especially when it first appeared not that long ago in November of 2023. Now, the Atlantic coastline, seaboard coastline inspired paint scheme is what really got a lot of people excited. Now, number 57 is a former Santa Fe GP7. When it was a GP7, it was 2852, and then later, when it became GP7U, it was renumbered to 2157. Now, the Florida Central operates 68 miles of track, directly serving industries in downtown Orlando, Florida, and surrounding communities. Now, the features of this locomotive include a blanked out dynamic brake, cab-mounted headlight, 4 exhaust stacks, and a Nathan P5 horn on brackets. Coming up next, we have the same locomotive, but in different subtle paint schemes. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk more, though, about the Santa Fe Southern. Now, Santa Fe Southern is a short line railroad located in New Mexico. It is predominantly a tourist railroad, but like many other tourist lines, it also handles some freight. Now, this colorful unit is unique in the fact that it displays a leading 0 as part of its road number, shown on both sides of the unit and on the number boards. Santa Fe Southern number 7, and also the one underneath it, 0927, is a former Santa Fe GP7, road number 2744, and then when it was GP7U, it became 2234. You can get one or both of these depending on your timeline. These are predominantly 2012 era. So if you get the Santa Fe Southern as it would normally appear, just number 07, you can go ahead and add that to your fleet. However, there is the 0927. You can see some subtle differences there because that locomotive was cosmetically modified for a hit television show in August of 2012. Now, our legal department says we can't tell you what show that was. It's breaking my heart, and it's too bad we can't say anything about it, but it is a very popular television show, and if you know, you probably know. So what details are the Santa Fe Southern locomotives going to have? Well, they're going to be non-dynamic. They're going to have cab-mounted headlights, 4 exhaust stacks, small firecracker antenna, and a Leslie RS 5T RRO horn with mounting bracket. We're not done. We've got one more short line, and it actually complements what we talked about last month. Last month, you'll remember we came out with the Athearn Genesis CA11 cabooses. Now, predominantly those were Union Pacific, but of course, Idaho and Northern and Pacific purchased a few of those. We did 2 road numbers of those, and likewise, now we're going to offer 2 road numbers of the Idaho Northern Pacific GP7Us. This is how they appeared in 2012. Now, brief history on Idaho Northern Pacific. It's a 120-mile short line composed of 2 former UP branch lines in southwest Idaho. Now, this railroad handles predominantly forest products, agricultural products, and chemicals. So again, we've got 2 versions that or 2 road numbers that we're offering for you. Let's start with 2074. Now, 2074 is a former Santa Fe GP7. Its road number was 2876. When it became GP7U later in life, it became 2074. Working for the Idaho Northern Pacific, it has a blanked dynamic Nathan P3 horn on bracket, spark arresters, xenon strobe effect in DCC only, and a tall snowplow. Likewise, 2094, also a former Santa Fe GP7. When it was a standard GP7 for Santa Fe, it was road number 2773. When it became GP7U later in life, it was 2094. Now this will be a non-dynamic Nathan K5LA horn on bracket, blanked out left front number board per prototype photos that our product development team have found. Some of the other features on the Idaho Northern Pacific locomotives are cab-mounted headlights, 2 exhaust stacks, and large firecracker antennas. We'll go back to the picture of the locomotive that we offered a few years back, and let's talk a little bit about the details. So like I was saying at the beginning, these are available in two versions. You can get the DCC ready version, which will include a quick plug and play technology with 21-pin NEM connector, so you can add the decoder of your choice, or you can just run it standard DC if you like. You can also get one onboard DC decoder with the Soundtrack Tsunami 2 sound. So you've got two versions that you can go for there. And again, that includes both the undecorated as well as the patch Santa Fe version. Some of the other details you're going to see are coupler cut levers, flexible train line and MU hoses, MU stands, lift rings, wire grab irons. The list goes on. Of course, you've got a really nice cab that you can detail with crew figures and whatnot, or whatever happened to that one locomotive on that one famous train show. You can see the complete details at our Athearn website at athearn.com. Go to the new announcements tab and select the GP7U to see a full list of details that these models include from factory. Two prices on these. If you go with the DC only DCC ready, it's $219.99. If you go with the Tsunami 2 installed and ready to go, it's $319.99. Now keep in mind that's MSRP, so before you start putting angry comments in the comment section, please contact your dealer first because we advertise MSRP on these. So there you have it. There is the GP7Us. Really a cool locomotive, and for you guys that are modeling some of the maybe the smaller layouts, shelf style layouts and such, these will be a great addition to your layout. All right, coming up next, we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to Athearn. We're going to stay in HO scale, and these are actually great cars to go along with your GP7Us. So you're probably going to see a road here that you like as well as an era. We're going to be talking mainly 1990s. We're going to have one in the 80s, but these are still applicable for today. Now, the modern 100-ton high-cube 60-foot boxcar has become ubiquitous in the modern rail scene. These cars are designed to carry a myriad of loads from auto freight parts to forest products. These boxcars are a fixture to any modern freight train. So the Athearn 60-foot FMC smooth side double door high cube boxcar, say that 5 times fast, is available for pre-order now. The one that you see on your screen right now is item number ATH 90578. You may be able to still find these in a few local shops or on some online retailers. Again, if you like that Golden West service car, that is ATH 90578. Now let's talk about what we're going to be offering for pre-order until March 29th. Coming up first, we've got Norfolk Southern. Now, the Norfolk Southern car, as well as the other roads that we're going to talk about tonight, they're going to be available in 3 different road numbers. The road numbers are non-duplicating, so if you really like your favorite railroad here, you can get all 3 and not have to worry about duplicating road numbers. Now, take a look at this 1995 era Norfolk Southern. Fans of the Southern will notice that the reporting marks still say SOU. Yes, these are former Southern cars. The car that you see on your screen now is road number 620020. We're also going to offer 2 additional cars, 620024 and 620026. Staying in 1995, we've got CSX. Their reporting marks on this car is CSXT, of course, for transportation. The car that you see on your screen right now is 166648. We're also going to follow up with 2 additional boxcars for CSX, and that will include road numbers 166657 and 166678. Going into the 1980s, we've got Cotton Belt. Of course, their reporting marks are SSW. The car that you see on your screen now is car number 62641. 2 additional boxcars will be offered in the Cotton Belt paint scheme, 62653 and 62695. We're not done though. We've got a few more to look at. Fans of Golden West service are really going to like this car. But keep in mind, this 1992 era car is no longer a Golden West service car. It is now the Ventura County Railway. Their reporting marks are VCY. And the car that you see on your screen now is road number 142034. Additionally, two cars will be offered with non-duplicating road numbers, including 142038 and 142041. And then finally, for our friends south of the border and anybody that's modeling, well, pretty much anywhere in the United States and even Canada now might want to pick these up. This is a 2000s era TFM car. Their reporting marks are TFM, and this is car number 21016. We're also going to feature car numbers 21021 and 21031. Now let's talk a little bit about the features of this car. So these are all going to have a double 8-foot Youngstown door. They're going to have separately applied grab irons, end ladders, brake wheel. They're going to have a photo etched coupler crossover platform. They're going to ride on 100-ton roller bearing trucks, complete with 36-inch machine metal wheels with RP25 contours. Of course, the McHenry operating scale knuckle couplers are body mounted. The body is highly detailed thanks to its injection molded process. And of course, these are painted and printed for realistic decoration. These are actually based on prototypes. They're weighted for optimum performance, and the minimum radius, even though these are 60 footers, is 18 inches. So guys out there with even small layouts, you can definitely justify picking up one of these if you model anytime between 1985 to current day. MSRP on these cars is $49.99. Again, talk to your dealer for your price. MSRP is manufactured suggested retail pricing. So again, talk to your dealer about those prices. Now, everything that I've talked about here tonight so far, you've got a deadline. You've got until Friday, March 29th, 2024 to go ahead and take advantage and pre-order either the GP7Us or the 60-foot FMC double door high cube boxcars, or go ahead and pre-order both. So there you have it. That's what I've got for you tonight on Train Tuesday. I've got some time to take some questions. Anybody that has questions on the GP7Us or the 60-foot boxcars, go ahead and put those in the comment section now. And let's see what I've got from some questions from earlier when the show was moving on. I'm going to go back a little bit. Glenn's liking the colors of the Central Kansas Railway. Yeah, and keep in mind, since they didn't always just stay in the Kansas area, if you're modeling Toledo, Ohio, and to Mansfield, or if you're modeling the Chicago area in the 2000s, you can definitely get that in there. A lot of guys are getting the reference to the television show, and again, we can't because our legal people say we can't. You know how licensing is. But we figured you guys would figure it out. Brad is a very hard gentleman to please. We've got a lot of things in the works. That's all I can tell you for right now. No, not this release. We didn't have what you were looking for. But I say it every month, and it's kind of like a radio station. The song that's playing right now might not be your favorite, but we probably got something that you like in the rotation of songs. Keep in mind that product development works many, many, many hours. And also keep in mind something that may seem simple to you to simply take a GP7 or a GP9 and turn it into a chop nose. It maybe seems simple to you, even if you have the ability to do it yourself. However, to make it manufactured and make it cost effective for us to produce in different roads and allow us to keep continuing that model in those roads takes a lot of time. So we ask for a little bit of patience. We have guys on staff that are running 24/7, it seems. I would agree that Florida Central is gorgeous. I really like that throwback paint scheme, and it's one of those models that again, I don't really have any association with it other than the fact that I really like it that they did that paint scheme. So I guess I'm going to have to look into getting one of those pre-ordered. Let's see, going down here a little bit further. A lot of comments on the Santa Fe Southern. Here's a great comment. I'm actually glad to see many different colorful short line railroads being made. Well, the reason why you're seeing that is because we're seeing a demand for it. Now, I've said multiple times that Athearn is made up of 90% model railroaders. I'm very active in N scale. I'm also active in HO. Our product developers, all of our product developers are into the hobby, NMRA members, and are well disciplined in Fremo and other modular standards. That being said, though, at the end of the day, since we do have to have operating costs taken care of, well, we have to choose wisely. So in this case, in the last few years, we've tried to listen to our customers as much as possible, and we've been getting a lot of requests for short lines. Now, mainly because a lot of people really like the flavor of a short line, meaning that you get to have the modern lighting features of a regular class one, but you have some unique locomotives that aren't just six axle wide cab locomotives. You have a little bit of everything. And these GP7Us are a perfect example of that. As long as we see a demand for it, we'll keep on making these. I kind of figured you would be. Late Night Model Railroad, who has some really cool layouts that he's built on his channel. He says he's eyeing the Santa Fe patch unit, would be perfect for my freelance railroad, maybe a pair of them. That's the good thing, is since they're not lettered, they're not numbered, you can buy as many as you want for your own freelance railroad. Let's see, we're going to go down further a little bit. Is it possible to change the number board numbers? If you're talking about the undecorated as well as the patched, yes. In fact, the patch version will come with a decal sheet with different road numbers for that. If you're talking about the ones that are already painted in the short lines that we've talked about, it can be done. It's a little bit more work, though, than it would be with the undecorated or the patch version. All right. A couple of guys are still asking what TV show. Just trust me on this one. It's a good show. A lot of guys asking for N. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an N scale guy myself. We get a lot of people that want N scale. N scale is actually, as far as a manufacturing end, actually more expensive to produce than HO scale. You're probably thinking, well, why? N scale's smaller. It should be cheaper. Now, physics kind of dictates what things cost. And think about it, smaller electronics, smaller motors, smaller components, and deco cost on an N scale locomotive is just as much, if not more, than an HO scale locomotive. That being said, we have looked into some new N scale projects, and I can guarantee you that 2024, you N scale guys like myself are going to be really happy with Athearn. We've got some stuff coming out, so be patient with us. A lot of comments on the 60 footers. And let's see, what else have we got as far as questions? Any chance of boxcars in N? Yes, you'll see boxcars in N. Not this month, but you'll see some. Randall says, I don't know if you saw my, and I know this, trust me. You can't see it off camera, but I've got stacks of BNSF stuff. So I knew somebody would jump on that comment. Yeah, BNSF does still have at least one GP7U. There's some other locomotives that they still have. But for the most part, what I was getting at with that, Randall, is by the 90s, by the early 2000s, a lot of those were getting sold off. Because keep in mind, those modified GP7Us, a lot of them were, I mean, they started the program in 72. So you've got almost 30 years there. And at that point, both General Electric and EMD were pumping out new stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s, and BNSF had standing orders with both of those companies. So as a result, a lot of those SD40-2s that you and I probably saw on mainline freight, well, now they're in Galesburg and they're doing switching operations that a lot of these GP7Us used to do. A lot of those GP7Us ended up going to short lines like we talked about tonight. But cool to know, and that lets me know that if I'm in Marion, Arkansas, I've got an excuse to go hunt that guy down and get some pictures. Austin, everything we talk about is pre-order, so no, they're not in stock. You got until March 29th to place a pre-order with the dealer of your choice. And typically, now that we're seeing things slowly get back to normal from the pandemic, it typically takes about 18 months before these are in stock. So you definitely want to sign up for our social media as well as our YouTube channel, because that way you're notified when these items are going to be in stock. Let's see, what else have we got? A lot of questions tonight. No Steam updates for you right now, Shannon. Robert Thomas is really happy about the undecorateds. That's good to hear. I wish I had time to do more painting like I used to. Years ago, I used to do all kinds of painting, mainly in N scale. And ironically, now that I work for Athearn, my model railroad time is limited. Let's see. Are you a Trayman too? With a good reminder, you only have until March 5th on this one. He's living the Athearn sales event. I've bought many Athearn products over the last couple of days. Now with these GP7Us, I see I need at least two of those. So good to hear. Yeah, we do have a train sale going on right now. You're going to want to talk to your dealer, because participating dealers are offering sales up to 60% off Athearn, Athearn Genesis, and Roundhouse models and both HO and N scale. So talk to your dealer. If for some reason you don't have a dealer that's local to you, check out online. A lot of the online dealers are also participating in this sale. And last ditch, if you have no luck there, you can still go to horizonhobby.com or athearn.com. How many more years until the Surfliner cars show up? They're going to be this year. They're going to be this year. I know Alexander's probably rolling his eyes at me right now. Yeah, you've been saying that for a while. No, they're going to be this year. We're still trying to get it in. I'm saying late summer, early fall. Keep in mind, though, that ETA can change. But yeah, they're going to be this year. Let's see. Going through here. Was there a promo code for the Athearn sale on the Athearn website? Yes, just go to the main page at athearn.com and you will see what that discount code is. Because the first thing you see when you go to the Athearn website is that banner letting you know that the Ride the Rail sale is now through March 5th. So go ahead and hit the shop now, and you can go in there. And I'm trying to see, I think it was Ride the Rails was the promo code to use. You can also, if you want, you can go to horizonhobby.com. In fact, I'll go there right now. And Ride the Rails is also there as well. And in case you're into other things besides trains, you can also take part of that as well. Let's see what else we've got. Got some more questions coming in. Charles, I don't know of any auto racks that are going to be announced in the immediate future. Amtrak P42s, when are Operation Lifesaver due? We're hoping in spring. We're looking at mid to late spring on those. Late to the show, but what's the update on the P42 Amtrak 46 fix. There is going to be a fix. I can let you know that Athearn is going to take care of you guys that have that model. We apologize for that. We have been working with the factory, so there is a resolution coming. Uh, I think we are planning on going live this week on our social media with an official response. So if you've got the Amtrak 46 unit, rest assured we're going to help you guys out. We're not going to leave you in the lurch. There you go. Ride the Rails 1 is the promo code that you need to take and put into your discount code. All right, one or two more questions, and I'm going to let you guys get back to it, get some modeling done. A couple of guys just kind of talking back and forth, so those aren't questions I'm going to put on the screen. Don't have an update on the 40-foot modernized boxcars for you tonight. Sorry. I'll try to remember to see if I have anything for you next week. Speaking of in stock, any update on the Genesis AC 4400s? Oh yeah, they're close. They are probably on the water right now. So we should be seeing something soon. In fact, we just took pictures of production models for the website, and you're probably going to be seeing those and some other things as well soon. So they're going to be here soon. Randall's getting back to me on that GP70. He says, yeah, I know, Jim. Just wanted to let everybody know, which is cool. I like it when people tell me what's going on out there. He said it's still operating on BNSF, but it is rough. I've seen this thing in person. So hopefully, Randall, you've gotten your tetanus shot and you're good there. But maybe some point you could share some pictures with us. All right, one more question here. That's more of a product suggestion. So if you've got a product suggestion, remember to go to Athearn-product suggestions at athearn.com and send those in. Relatable 100 update on the coil cars. I don't have anything for you immediately, but they are being worked on. So we should be seeing some information flow through in, I would think, the next few weeks. I think I heard John saying he was working on some samples for those. So if he's got something for me, I'm sure he'll let us know. All right. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget, the next show that I'll be in attendance is coming right up. It's going to be April 6th and 7th. I'm going to be in Denver, Colorado, and I'm going to be at the Rocky Mountain Train Show. So stop by the booth, say hi. I plan on bringing a lot of cool stuff with me, and looking forward to seeing Denver again and seeing you out there. So stop by the booth, say hi, check out what we're going to have on hand. And another thing before I let you go, if you saw Friday, we sent out a survey, the 2024 Modelers Survey. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what models that you pre-ordered last year, what models you purchased last year, and what you're doing in your modeling efforts. And it has been a big success. If you missed out on that, we're going to post that survey again on social media, probably tomorrow or Thursday. Also, keep an eye for the Athearn email newsletter, because the survey will also be sent through our email newsletter. So keep an eye on that survey. We want to hear from you. Everything that you guys have sent us in the last 3 years has been extremely helpful, and hopefully it's been helpful for you too as a modeler. So until next time I get to talk to you guys, get out there, get some modeling done, be kind to others, and above all, high greens. Take care.